So, with this podcast, I would like to start a new series of our podcasts on optimal mind, which is the struggles of a coach. Coaches are not perfect, and neither we are perfect. But continuous learning through our mistakes is one of the best ways to learn actually, and it's also one of the best ways to describe for you what's going on in the mind of a coach and how he's trying to overcome his own challenges. So here I will be vulnerable, I will be open, maybe not right away so deeply, but step by step I will try to get more open so you see how I am growing or not growing or having problems in fact, and therefore you can learn from that too. So as you know, I'm an executive coach working with corporations and especially executives and executive teams. And for a long time I thought, these people are like heavy, they are heavyweights. So I thought their emotions, their mindset sometimes gets really heavy because corporations are heavy in general. So I compare them to like sumo guys, and I was thinking, okay, why they are so heavy? Because it's heavy for me, it's not an easy game by all means. And I was like, gee, it's so heavy. So I started remembering another field of my clients, which was at some point especially the army guys. So I did work for Canadian cadets, and I did work with the retired army people, early retired, so they were really young, 40, 50s, in the company who did security, G4S security, in fact, a famous big company. So, and I noticed that they are behaving differently than the directors in the companies. They were directors of this security company. And especially my experience with Canadian cadets was awesome because they are much lighter. In many ways, the army is much lighter. And I was also inspired to what I'm going to say here by Jamie Wheel article on that, because he had some contact with SEALs, US Navy SEALs, and he analyzed, how SEALs are working. And it seems that American SEALs and Canadian cadets have many similarities. And first of all, in their leadership, it is fast moving. So they make decisions fast. It's like, first of all, if the leader of a pack, of a group of people is not sure what to say, they will go to the next one who knows what to say or what to do, especially. So they have this rowing leadership. At any moment, a leader could change, at any moment. So, and it's not like one is the leader. They tap into this universal team consciousness and universal team leadership. So when in action, the leader will change. And it was very interesting because when I got to work with Canadian cadets, I was the oldest instructor. We were civilian instructors. I was not completely inside, but we were working with them very intensively over the period of 2 months every summer, and helping the teams to move better in the wilderness, having better relationships with each other, better leadership, and so on. So what happened actually? The first day, not the captain, but not the general, something between the captain and the general, I forgot how to say it. He decided, okay, one of us has to be a leader. There was 8 of us instructors, and he very quickly chose me. I was like, how did you choose me? Why did you choose me? Okay, you are the oldest. Yeah, I was the oldest by 1 or 2 years than other instructors, but it was like, I was shocked how quickly he just chose some value that he appreciated, and that was the age in this case, and then I was a leader. That's it, But then when we went into the field, we had this thing between us that whoever knows the solution first, they will be the leader in this moment. So that was very interesting. And I didn't struggle with this, but I was like shocked, positively shocked, how quickly you can make decisions. And when I'm working with corporations, big corporations, unfortunately, there is a process that it slows down really quickly. And I think corporations can learn a lot from the army or from these types of armies that are top end, that are actually the fastest moving companies. So I like the journal Fast Company, and I think in this world you are either fast or you are dead. So how do they become fast? So first of all, in decision making, but also they have another system, which is a buddy system, which I'm using on all my trainings, which is so simple that nobody almost is using it. But the buddy system is about, if you are a learner, find yourself a buddy, find yourself someone who will really has a similar goal and who wants to do similar things to you, but not necessarily, but who just wants to support, and you can support them. So for example, I have a friend here in this studio right now, and we decided we only speak English because that's our goal, to speak in English. And if we go back to our native language, it just everything gets slower and we don't practice the English. So the body could be as simple as, let's speak English instead of your own native language, or let's do these exercises like in climbing. We have buddies, and you watch each other, you take care of each other, and you make sure you both progress. And how did the buddy system came into existence? I heard, I'm not sure, but I heard at least twice that it started with the Wild West, when one gunman actually was much more vulnerable than two gunmen. And if two gunmen were watching each other, helping each other, they could actually win over, a large group of people. And you can see it in the movies, two gunmen versus one gunman. And this is where the buddy system started, because they really realized that two gunmen could be 800% more effective than one gunman, and therefore can win. Once upon in the Wild West, this is one of these famous westerns that you can definitely see what is happening when there are two gunmen versus one gunman, and a few other ones. I mean, almost all of them, So buddy system, and in training it means that you get yourself a person with whom you train and who reminds you. There is another way of having a buddy system, and my friend just mentioned this, is that when we are young, we have parents that are kind of our buddies, and they remind us about different things. And then when we are adults, and let's say we don't have a partner, or we have a partner who is not really interested in being your buddy for training and growing, then you find a person who will remind you of important things. And sometimes you hate those reminders. Sometimes it's too much, but they cause you not to just like wait and forget what is your real goal. So the important thing the body does is he or she reminds you of your main goal. So this is it in terms of body system. And one more thing which is very interesting is overtraining. So they invest so much in overtraining, and actually my son was in French Legions, and he told me everything what they do, and in Canadian Cadets the same, and they are training you so hard that when you get into normal life, you're like happy, oh, I'm not training now. And they overtrain you on all the levels, physical, mental, strategic, and so on, because under pressure, in a difficult situation, you don't rise to the occasion. mostly you sink to the level of your training. So if you haven't been trained, or you have been trained poorly or little, it will not help you. You will not rise to the occasion. Most people, there is some special breed of people who will rise to the occasion, but they have been trained in many other fields. So let me talk about alpinists. Even alpinists has a situation when he's fighting and climbing the mountains for 3-4 days, like an alpine one or a Himalayan expedition. And if in the life there are some little things, he is not affected by fear and kind of weakness that most people are, because he has lived through those tough times. And maybe another example is my father or any other war veterans, except those who psychologically got PTSD and all other stuff. These people could be weak. But people who have positively came out of the war, then they have so much strength for everyday life and everyday situations that is unbelievable, you know. And that's, I'm so happy with the example of my father, who is doing so well. And you could see his YouTube video on how he's exercising at 95, and you will be a bit surprised, you know. So this is what we are finding in the army. In the corporations like now, there is not enough training, and the training is not hard enough because they are afraid to put people in tough situations, because people could protest or something. But if you really want to have a top team, overtraining is the thing. So fast moving, fast decisions, and body system and overtraining. Those are the 4 things I talked about. And try to think as a task about one thing you could improve out of those 4 and implement just one of these things, you know. The muscles which are not trained hard, they will not grow. And this is the same for the physical muscles, and the same for mental muscles, and the same for spiritual muscles or emotional muscles. The muscles which are not trained will not grow. And I like this, what Schwarzenegger says, if you watch me training, your muscles will not grow. Your muscles will grow if you continuously train harder and harder. And with that, I'm leaving you. I do have a struggle here, which is to train physically more. I find that I'm trying to train in the morning, but very quickly my mind takes me to other things, to do other things. My mind is so fast and wants to do so many things, and I have so many ideas that I train less than I want. And I should train more because I'm getting older, and you should train more to be strong enough in this age. And so what I did, my latest ideas are, I go to the very cold shower, and after very cold shower, you're much more energetic, you know, at least me and many people. But it doesn't work as well as like a real waterfall in nature. So I try to go on vacations to such places. I go into really cold water, and then I have a window of about 20 to 30 minutes of training where I can really train, because I'm so cold, so I want to move to get warmer. So that's one idea. Look for your ideas, because everyone is affected by the destructions of the world and by general tiredness of this world. And we need to find some good hacks, good tricks to make ourselves train more. Because most people in the world don't train enough for whatever they want to do. And then we see people who are just weak, and that's not where we want to be, and that's not where I want to be for sure. So have a great day and enjoy.